all. Hello, I'm Chris Vint, Ventomania, and you're on Ventomania channel. Yes, channel, not challenge. And this is
Mrbigred, and what a privilege it is to be sitting here again.
Yes, it is. This is our third video, I think.
Something along those lines.
We did our first one, then we did the one to do with Alan being in.
Oh, aye, the breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. I had some pickups today. Mrbigred didn't get anything, so.
Not a thing.
So these arrived today, first of all, which is Legends of Wrestling Roundtable, which is Hulk Hogan and Bob Backlund. With Bob Backlund getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, decided to try and learn a bit more about him. I'll just set them over there.
Pass them to me, sure.
Are you sure?
Honestly.
Okay. You're not taking these home with you, though. That's unorthodox and not minded. This one here is Roddy Piper and Terry Funk.
Oh, give it to me.
Rey Mysterio, the biggest little man.
Biggest man.
I got in CX for £4. Don't throw it on the floor because they make quite a noise. Allied Powers, the world's greatest tag teams, £6 in CX. And these were.
This wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well, I thought for.
But it's still one for the collection.
These here, I got 4 others. These were buy one get one free, so these were £2 each. So I got Backlash 2008, Judgment or Unforgiven 2008, and then I got Judgment Day 2008 and Armageddon 2008 as well. So my haul came to £18 altogether.
I did get something today. I got Taken 2 for 15.
So
so I get one thing for 15, and you get like 6 for 18.
Yeah.
Always get the short end of the stick.
It just shows who's the better shopper. Yeah, so we're here to address kind of some rumours floating around to do with Undertaker and possibly not competing this year at Wrestlemania. Thoughts?
I just think it's the same thing that they say every year. I mean, every year you hear the speculation around the Undertaker, and you always go on the dirt sheets. There's always Taker's not going to be at Mania, and then a few weeks before Mania, you hear the gong and out he comes. And I think, really and truthfully, it'll be the same thing again this year. You know. You can't have the Undertaker not be at Mania. Yeah. And I think, you know, one appearance a year, I think, is something he should be able to do.
Exactly.
And I think it's just, you know, the rumour mill being stirred again to create a bit of discussion and
because it's not a
scandal.
Nobody said, oh, Triple H will not be at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
You know, like, or...
And of course, Triple H said himself, you know, you haven't seen the last of the Undertaker. And, you know, I would bet money that he's going to be at 29 performing.
I think somebody's just sent this rumour out and it's just snowballed into something.
And then people
massive.
had said about Paul Bearer saying something in an interview as well.
Someone said something to do with
where
that.
He said about it, you know, he was physically wrecked and, you know, he's given his body for the company, and that's true, he has, and you always do read reports about the Undertaker being in a poor kind of physical state, but he always seems to just work through it, and, you know, I always envisaged him maybe calling it a day at 30, or whatnot, but we'll just have to see what happens, but I definitely think he'll be there, and it probably most likely will be against CM Punk.
I was going to say, I'd be gutted if it was over there and the whole spectacle to do with the Undertaker.
I just think,
streak, and
you know, as we were saying today, the fact that he's doing a VIP as well, you know, we know he's going to be in the New York area, so, you know, I definitely think they will use him and he will be working, but again, as I said in my own video, you know, if he wasn't going to work, you know, a singles match and, you know, he wanted less physicality, then he could maybe go down the tag team route or something like that, but realistically speaking, I don't even see that happening, you know.
Yeah. As long as we get to see him at the end of the day, I don't care if we only see him in a short match.
Yeah.
But if we see the streak just go on, that's fine with me.
Then you have people saying, oh, you know, but it would be nice for him to leave the streak as it is at 20-0, and it does look good. And you know, there were some people making that argument where if he goes on and makes it like 21-0 or 22-0, it's not going to look as perfect as 20-0. You know, it looks like someone who was desperate and didn't want to give it up, and kind of, you know, one of these things where you should maybe leave when the going's good rather than dragging it out, but I don't think that'll happen.
No, I think it'll just go on as long as he can physically make it go on for, and obviously as long as he can do good matches. There's no point in going in there and doing half-assed, you know, like getting a 4 out of 10, for example.
As some people would say, Bret Hart.
4 out of 10, that's just a joke. It's just a joke. So it is, but we'll not talk about that because you should have seen Sean Blackwood's video. He'll do a better job than us. But we just watched the Raw Top 100 moments. What were your thoughts on this?
Great release. Something I'll definitely pick up myself. As we were saying there, you know, it's really, really easy to sit through. Not like a lot of the other countdown ones that they've released as of late, like what was it, the finishing moves one. I found that hard to sit through. But this one was great. You know, every moment was memorable in my opinion.
Yeah,
especially
everyone that came up, you were like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but you had a smile on your face.
And you had a good mix of kind of current last few years stuff and a lot of the attitude era, and you know, even stuff from the show's inception. So yeah, covered everything.
3.5 hours, you know, like the
and
time
it flew by. Yeah,
so
that's kind of what you want to think. You know, you don't want to think it's going to be such a drag, and it certainly isn't.
So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, you know, you can listen to the Wrestle Shock where I review that in the Attitude Era.
I promise I'm going to do that.
You might better, so you might.
I will.
But yeah, you can just listen to my thoughts. Type in Wrestle Shock on iTunes or head over to operationretroshock.podbean.com. We went into HMV today because apparently, you know, stores are closing down. I thought we'd go in, avail of the sale and stuff. Saw Mr. Lualdo 95 get some cheap stuff. We weren't as fortunate because we're going to get charged 30 odd quid for stuff on Blu-ray. I think the cheapest one was the 2009-2010.
And they're doing that 25% off as well, but I'd rather they just took that off and made that the price.
Let me see if I actually had that one. I actually do have it on DVD, so it's just as well I didn't buy it.
But I mean, anyone that really buys a DVD, a wrestling DVD from HMV, you need your head examined.
Yeah, because
35 quid for some of those releases especially.
And that's the recommended retail price, so it is, and you find that, you know...
But the HMV always have done that with their WWE stuff, and it's just
like that,
it's robbery.
You know, the new one, WWE.co.uk, are the same price as Silvervision, so you're not paying the recommended retail price.
Exactly, so...
As Chris says, if you're buying stuff from there...
I think really everyone will just stick to Fremantle, to be honest, and eBay and Amazon, things like that, but avoid HMV. Is the moral of that story.
The last time I bought one was Randy Orton's DVD, but the only reason I bought that was because it was trading stuff in, and decided, oh well, here's the DVD, I'll get that. But no, I wouldn't go in and purposely go, here's £35 of my money, whenever I can get it for a fraction of the price, and maybe get 3 for the price of that one. But yeah, do you want to mention anything else wrestling related?
Nothing particular. I suppose Raw tonight, we expect to see the aftermath of Brock's attack on Vince, so it's been interesting to see whether they go down the route of setting up Triple H and Brock tonight. You know, what will they do to CM Punk? Because you got to think, I suppose if they're going to do Punk and Taker, it won't really kick into effect until after Elimination Chamber, you would think, because obviously now he's kind of preoccupied with The Rock and the rematch. That was something I loved about Punk, the fact that he told Rock, you know, it's his rematch.
Yeah.
You know, as if he's still the champion. I thought that was genius.
But it could be a case of Taker kind of messes with Punk, and then Punk says, you cost me the championship.
You could do that and go down that route, and that could be the start of their rivalry, but yeah.
And we should see an unboxing from you with the amount of figures you got.
I hope so, yes. I'm going to try and do that as soon as possible, and then a few Silvervision things and whatnot, so look out for that, please, guys.
That seems to be your word of the week, is whatnot.
And whatnot. I always say whatnot.
Yeah, because in your last video I think you said it like 4 times.
Oh, sorry, were you counting?
Whatnot.
Whatnot.
Yeah, what?
Sad.
Yeah, well, lovely. What a brilliant way to end this day, you know, like just sad.
It's been a long day hanging around. I'm joking.
That's so unfair, so cruel. You threw my DVDs on the floor, and especially Hulk Hogan you threw on the floor.
Was that who it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Bob Backlund was there too, so... He got this DVD to try and get up to speed, and Bob Backlund, since we're going to be there...
I wouldn't mention the word speed and Bob Backlund.
No,
not really.
No, he definitely deserves it to go into the Hall of Fame, but as I've said, he was just a bit before my time.
He is like the Nick Bockwinkel of this era of like, I don't know.
Someone who is a great name within wrestling, but someone, I've only really seen him on DVD releases and whatnot. So, yeah. But I'm sure it'll be interesting enough. He gets a good name.
Thanks.
We'll have to watch that.
Will we?
If we need to go to sleep. No, joking.
Oh, we've got McFoley's there, or Kane's. No, McFoley's, sorry. Right, well, I think I'll probably do this. Do you want to plug your channel then, Mr. Mrbigred?
Yes, please. If you aren't subscribed to me, I would appreciate you subscribing.
I think half of my subscribers are probably yours, to be honest.
Vice versa, probably. But yeah. But it's a privilege to be part of your channel again, so
Thanks.
Thanks. You'll have to come over to Mrbigred.
Yeah, the Cane Cave, and go like, wow, look at all this stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, because we just have DVDs behind us here, whereas over there we'll have lots
all
of
sorts of
toys.
crazy shit.
You swore on my channel.
Sorry.
That is...
Are you PG?
No, I try to be, but then, you know, like, look at that Ticketmaster video, I try not to swear. You come over and start swearing and saying things. Ridiculous. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us. So thanks very much for watching. Leave your comments here. If there's any DVDs behind me you'd like to see me review or things like that, just let me know. Yeah, indeed. So yeah, thanks. Say bye bye.
Cheerio, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
No, you won't.